Have any of you ever procrastinated? Well, I haven't. Perfect record. Of course not. So, a couple years ago, me and my friend had this science project where we had to make science cards that look like this. Well, as all experienced parents know, when children are together, all they think about is fun, fun, fun. This wasn't any different between me and my friend. But that's what we did for the first 2 weeks. We played on our devices, we watched TV, we played with our toys, up until the last day. We should have rushed everything, and our card ended up looking like this. I ended up getting a C, and the only reason I got that was because everybody else in my class did exactly the same. This cycle probably happened to almost all of us students, but don't go thinking your parents are any better. In fact, studies show that over 88% of all working adults procrastinate at least 1 hour a day. Now, I'm not saying that everybody here is a massive procrastinator, but I'll be addressing the majority of this room. I'll be mainly focusing on 3 topics: how procrastination is caused by different parts of your brain, how procrastination affects not only your life but also your society, and how by changing our behaviors, we may be able to lessen the time we procrastinate or getting rid of it entirely. Okay, let's begin. There are a lot of explanations for procrastination. Some people say it's a fear of something, usually made by doing it and then regretting it. If that's the case, the part of your brain that is responsible is your amygdala, which controls things like fear, anger, and aggression. The second explanation is as a thrill seeker's hobby. If that's the case, then your happy chemicals, like dopamine, serotonin, and adrenaline, are probably responsible. Most thrill seekers are addicted to chemicals like that, and procrastination may spark it. The last explanation is a conflict between 2 parts of your brain, your prefrontal cortex and your limbic system. Your prefrontal cortex's main job is long-term planning and decision-making, and your limbic system, above all else, is the pleasure center of your body. When these 2 sides conflict, the one that usually wins is the limbic system, because it is a much older and better developed part of your brain, and thus creates procrastination. We've all known how procrastination affects us in the short term. It wastes our valuable time and ruins chances we'll never get back. This causes us to know how bad procrastination is, but we just don't know how bad. Studies show that procrastination seriously damages our long-term health, both by not allowing us to visit the doctor and creating work-induced anxiety, depression, and guilt. Procrastination not only affects you, but also your community. One example is climate change. Even back before the 1970s, governments around the world already knew that climate change was a big problem. But why didn't they do anything? Because they didn't want to. And now, when people reflect on the government's actions, all they will say is, I didn't know. This is just one example of many that shows how bad procrastination really is. There are a lot of ways to stop procrastination. While I was studying for this talk, I stumbled upon this ad about pills to stop procrastination. Well, I'm not sure if it really works, but it is one big crazy idea. There are a lot of ways to stop procrastination. You can go on the internet. You can find at least 1,000 ways. But here are my best tips. Each of my tips are used to combat one part of procrastination. 1, self-control. 2, motivation. And 3, time management. Okay, self-control. And why most of us can't stop looking at our phones from social media or gaming. It is one of the biggest problems of procrastination. I know most of you go for a timer, but it doesn't work. My tip here is to give your device to somebody else to hide it for you, or a simpler way is to turn off notifications. My second tip is concerning motivation. The hardest part of procrastination is to get started with something, and that's where my tip comes in. Tell yourself to give yourself a reward after doing what you're doing, or go for a set system that looks like this. First, have 15 minutes of work, and then give yourself 5 minutes of free time. This helps me a lot when I can't find the motivation to do my work. My third tip is about time management. I agree with the experts and think timetables really help, but for me, a basic outline in my head is good. Split your days into blocks and time the things you do most often. For me, my showers are usually around 15 minutes and my dinner is around 30. I use them to make my timetable better and my overall time management better. Okay, now, you may still think you have a lot of time left in the road, but think about this. How much times have your life just been a circle? You woke up, you went to school, or you went to work, you came home, you did a bit more work, or if you're a student, you did some homework, and then you relaxed and you slept. Procrastination gets us stuck in this loop. You can't improve and you're always declining. And most of the stuff for procrastinating has nothing to do with deadlines. It is visiting a relative or getting a regular checkup with a doctor. Try out something new. It doesn't have to be very big. You could call up an old friend or try out a food somebody suggested to you. As I said before, just try it, just do it. Thank you.